So the moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. Today, Lucasfilm and Disney have released the brand new trailer for Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett, which will be releasing on the 29th of December, squeezing it right in at the end of the year. In the trailer, we get a fantastic look at Boba Fett's rise to power in the criminal underworld, the mysterious villain of the show Hammerhead, and even the possible homeworld of Din Djarin. So let's dive right into all of the awesome details from the trailer. And before we get started, make sure you're subscribed for a whole lot more Book of Boba Fett content leading all the way up to the release in December. And also leave a comment below which character you want to see appear the most. To start off, Lucasfilm did confirm that the first episode of the series will be airing on November 29th, and according to the same sources that leaked the release of this trailer, the Book of Boba Fett will go for a full 9 episodes. This is absolutely awesome because it will go beyond the 8 episode seasons of The Mandalorian that we're currently used to. As for runtime, we still have no idea, but it will probably be variable and around the 40-minute mark, just like The Mandalorian Season 2 was. So the trailer begins on the harsh desert world of Tatooine, right in front of Jabba's palace. Or should I say Boba's palace now, with a very familiar spider droid. This spider is the BT-16 perimeter droid or brainwalker that we see roaming in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. Its primary functions included motion sensors, seismic readers and a repeating blaster cannon, all to keep intruders away from the palace. They also carried the brains of the B'omarr monks, who were a mysterious religious order that believed in completely cutting themselves off from all physical sensation to bring them enlightenment. As a result of this belief, they removed their brains and placed them in nutrient-filled jars carried by the Spider Walkers. Yeah, pretty disturbing. Following that, we get a stern line from Boba Fett declaring that he is no longer a bounty hunter. He is completely relinquishing that part of his past and now wants to rule the criminal underworld, instead by bringing all of the various criminal syndicates and crime families under his grip. It definitely feels like they're going for that Godfather and mobster feel, so we're definitely in for some brutal scenes like Robert Rodriguez promised us. This type of setting could also lead us into a 1313 style Coruscant underworld, just like George Lucas was producing and even had scripts for before it was scrapped. You can probably also notice that the armor is again scratched up after Boba repainted and restored it in The Mandalorian Season 2. This means he'll be getting right back into the action and getting his hands dirty once again, fighting rival crime lords and mob bosses for control of the underworld. After this, we see a pit droid handing Boba Fett his helmet, which are the same ones we see working at the repair dock in The Mandalorian, as well as being the awesome little droids from The Phantom Menace. Now after that, Boba puts his helmet on and we hear a voice saying, "I've heard otherwise." This honestly sounds a lot like Pedro Pascal, the man who plays Din Djarin to me, so maybe he's just voice acting another character in the series. It appears he is playing the translated voice of the Hammerhead Ithorian, since we know that they require translation devices to speak Galactic Basic. But we'll get more into him in just a moment because he will be playing an absolutely huge role in the series. Moving on from that, we arrive on a very dusty and dry settlement inside of what looks like a large crater. We get some better shots of the crater settlement later in the trailer. This could be a new city on Tatooine that we haven't seen before, or as I'm going to speculate, this could be the settlement where Din Djarin was born, Akvatina, and I'll break that down a lot more as it comes up in the trailer. Now after this, we see someone who will likely play the role of the main villain in the series, or if not, a major rival to Boba Fett. According to the leaks, all we know is that he is codenamed Hammerhead, and is a major crime boss with some deep beef with Boba. The leaks also say that despite having huge issues with Boba, the two will be forced to team up and fight a third and much bigger enemy. If I had to guess, this could be the return of the Crimson Dawn Crime Syndicate to live action, as we know they're back in full force at this point in time, thanks to the War of the Bounty Hunter comics. We've also had confirmation that those comics are tying directly into the Book of Boba Fett, so if you want to catch up on those, make sure you check out the link in the pinned comment down below. Right after this, we get a view of the massive city in the crater. If this is Tatooine, this would be one very large and sprawling city, and I'm surprised they can even gather enough water to sustain it. On the off chance that this isn't Tatooine, it could actually be Akvatina, which is the birthplace of Din Djarin, and where he lived during the Clone Wars flashbacks that we saw in The Mandalorian. On top of that, the clothing pretty much matches up, but we'll have to wait and see. My bet is on the obvious Tatooine, but you never know. Next up, we get an awesome line from Boba, saying that Jabba ruled with fear and that he refuses to do the same. He wants to rule with respect. It's definitely going to be cool to see that, but we'll see how long it actually lasts. Following that, we have a group of Jabba's former captains meeting for dinner inside of the palace, probably negotiating a new alliance. In the shot we have Trandoshans, Klatooinians, Gamorreans, Aqualish, and probably some Nikto lurking around. I've got to say, the alien costumes are getting better and better with every show. These guys look absolutely awesome. Now after that, we see Boba and Fennec emerge from the palace balcony, probably after the meeting has just happened, pointing to them having large success, and looking out to the distance, preparing for their future ruling the underworld. at least until they face a challenge to their throne. It's definitely going to be really cool to get some more inside views of Jabba's palace and to get some perspective inside that we pretty much have never had before. We've had some bits and pieces from the books and the reference books, but nothing concrete, and it looks like we're going to be getting a full interior of Jabba's palace. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm very excited for that. We also see a group of hoarding Tusken raiders crossing the tough sands of Tatooine, possibly hinting that we'll see flashbacks of how Boba escaped the Sarlacc pit and how the Tuskens helped him to survive after. We pretty much know that Boba lived among the Tuskens after surviving the Sarlacc, and we know that flashbacks will be playing a part in this series, so it's a pretty safe bet to say that we will see something like this at some point. We'll likely also see flashbacks to the Cad Bane vs Boba Fett fight near the end of the Clone Wars, which resulted in Cad Bane taking a huge blaster bolt to the head and requiring a metal plate on his head, as we see in the Bad Batch. We'll also likely see some stuff to do with Dengar, Bossk, IG-88 and all of the classic bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back, as most of them are still alive and kicking in the War of the Bounty Hunters comic, some even facing down Boba Fett. We then see Boba and Fennec storm into a cantina with two Twi'leks whispering into each other's ears. If they have any significance to the story at all, they're probably spies for a rival crime syndicate to Boba and are planning something big. After that, a huge battle erupts on the sandy world with Boba's helmet falling to the ground, full of New Republic credits. We can see the little New Republic logo on them. This could be an act of symbolism against Boba and his greed for money and power. We also see a group of fighters who are probably the bodyguards of Hammerhead or another crime syndicate, wielding portable ray shields. I guess this technology has evolved by the post-Return of the Jedi period enough to do this. And I've got to say, they do look really cool. The fighters also look pretty similar to a modernized version of the Naboo security force, but they're likely not related in any way. In this fight sequence we get heaps of those classic Robert Rodriguez slasher shots, which he did promise. He also said we'll be getting all killer, no filler, so let's hope that pans out. Now in the shots after that, we get Fennec Shand warning the Aqualish crime captains that if they spoke the way they're speaking to Boba to Jabba, they'd be immediately fed to the Rancor and any other creatures Jabba had in store. Luckily for these two though, Boba is attempting to turn a new leaf and lead his new crime empire through the more respectable means. And that is all, of course, if it lasts. We all know who Boba Fett is and what his bloodline entails, so I wouldn't be so sure of this lasting too long. And to back that up, Boba urges the two to speak freely, since he won't immediately send them down the trapdoor like Jabba probably would have. But let me know down below what speculation you have for the series. Will Cad Bane appear, Bossk, Dengar or even Kira? Let me know in the comments because I'm sure the hype levels are going to be off the chart. So that is my full breakdown of the Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett official trailer number 1. Even though it was more of a teaser, I think they showed some pretty good stuff without spoiling pretty much anything. I'd say this is probably only the first episode or the first 2, just like the Mando trailers only showed the first 4 episodes. So let me know what you're looking most forward to in the series and what characters you think we'll see. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.